Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Srikant Gurukul. Here we are with a new video along with the VISION IAS current affair material of 15th November. Now let's go through it one by one. The first news that is regarding a report titled that Financing India's Infrastructure Needs, Constraints to Commercial Financing and Prospects for Policy Action, and it is released by World Bank. And here are some key highlights of this report. India will need to invest 840 billion over the next 15 years into urban infrastructure, and by 2036 40% of population of India will be living in the urban cities. And currently the central and state government finance, that is over 75% of the city infrastructure, and out of this the share of the urban local bodies, that is 15%, and the private sector is 5%, which is very low. And what are the challenges that is in private financing? Weak funding base for private financing, weak and fractured functional devolution for urban local bodies, weak fiduciary capacity, quality and data of city agencies undermines the investor confidence and credit worthiness, and highly centralized direct control framework by states over urban local. Now the report also gave some recommendation, that is structural reforms. Here are some recommendations regarding the structural reforms, that is to make India more stable, formula based and unconditional fiscal transfer regime, and to buoyant revenue base and cost recovery of services, and to increase the property taxes, user fees and service charges also. And there are also some targeted actions for India, and there is a program of performance based fiscal transfer. So the fund should be as per the performance of the urban local bodies, and improving capacity of the urban local bodies to develop and implement bankable projects, that and complex PPP transaction. Bankable projects means those projects which are viable for finance by bank, and establish a dedicated structure, that is such as cities investment support unit. And the next topic, that is regarding the Gram Nyayas. Recently the Supreme Court issues a notice to High Courts on play for setting of Gram Nyayas. As of December 2021, there are 476 Gram Nyayas that have been notified by 15 states, and 256 are operational in 10 states. What is this Gram Nyayas? And it is suggested by the Law Commission in its 114th report to establish a Gram Nyayas, and in 2008 it is passed by the Parliament as the Gram Nyayas Act. And here are some salient features of the Act, that is it provides for establishment of the Gram Nyayas at intermediate panchayat level, and the state government in consultation with the High Court will appoint Nyayadhikari for each Gram Nyayas. Who will appoint? The state government would appoint in consultation with the High Court. After consultation with the High Court, the state government will appoint a Nyayadhikari, and it will try the criminal cases, civil suits, claims or disputes, and it shall be guided by the principles of natural justice, subject to any rule made by the High Court, and it shall not be bound by rules of evidence provided by the Indian Evidence Act. And what are the advantages for setting up of Gram Nyayas? For easy and inexpensive access to justice, speedy disposal of cases, and reduction in pressure on civil courts. And there are also some challenges, that is these are resource allocation remains low or non-existent, low awareness among all stakeholders, and sense of confusion regarding the jurisdiction of the Gram Nyayalaya. Okay. The next topic, that is regarding the online bond platform. Recently the SEBI, the Security Exchange Board of India, it introduces a regulatory framework for the online bond platform providers, and the SEBI also defined the online bond platform providers as an electronic system other than a recognized stock exchange on which the debt securities which are listed or proposed to be listed are offered and transacted. So here in the regulatory framework, the SEBI has defined the online bond platform. For example, Bonds India, Golden Pie, these are some online bond platforms. Under the new rules, the online bond platforms must obtain a registration certificate as a stock broker from SEBI and ensure data governance. Okay, what is the need for the rule or need for the regulatory framework for these OBPs? The OBPs were not before it were not directly regulated by SEBI, and most of them are being operated by the fintech companies, and the online bond platform providers an avenue for non-institutional investors to access the bond market, thus need to ensure a transparency in them. And what is a bond? It is a debt instrument which is used by the companies, municipalities, states and sovereign governments to raise money. To raise money, it is a debt, it is a type of debt instruments in which an investor loans money typically to a corporate or government which borrows the funds for a definite period of time and at a variable or fixed interest rate. Okay, so the bonds provide the long term borrowing also. On the other hand, money market is where participant can lend and borrow short term high quality debt securities with average maturity of 1 year or less. Here are some information regarding bond, types of bond. There are 4 types of bond: there is fixed rate bonds, floating rate bonds, zero interest rate bonds and inflation index bond. What is fixed rate bond? Fixed rate bond where the interest remain fixed throughout the tenure of the bond, and the floating rate bond, it have a fluctuating interest rate. In the zero interest rate bond, it does not pay any regular interest to the investor. It issues only the issuer only pay the principal amount to the bondholders. And what is inflation indexed bond? It is a here the coupon payments adjusted for inflation by linking the payments to some inflation indicator. Okay. Now the next topic, that is regarding the COP27. In the COP27, India submits a long-term low carbon emission development strategy, that is also known as LT-LEDs, and as per this strategy, it laid out the steps India will take to achieve net zero by 2070, and all countries are to strict formulate the long-term low carbon emission development strategy under the Article 4.19 of the Paris Agreement under UNFCCC, and it has 4 pillars. The LT-LEDs has 4 pillars and 7 key transition to the low carbon development pathways. So what are those pillars? That 4 pillars. There is the first one, that is India has contributed little to global warming. The second, that is India has significant energy needs for its development. And the third, that is the low carbon development strategies and pursuing them per national circumstances. India needs to build climate resilience. And here are some 7 key strategy. LCD of electricity system, that is the low carbon development of electricity system. and the key elements are R&D, research and development into green hydrogen, fuel cells and biofuels, etc., and some rational utilization of the fossil fuel resources. Okay, and this strategy, that is to develop an integrated transport system. For this, India has to improve its fuel efficiency through fleet modernization and to improve the electrification across multiple modes. And another strategy, that is the energy and material efficiency and sustainable urbanization. And in order to achieve this, there is a climate responsive and resilient building design and the low carbon municipal service delivery, and the decoupling of growth from emission. India has to enhance material efficiency and low carbon options in hard to abate sectors, that is in steel, cement sector. And the carbon dioxide removal and related engineering solutions. In order to achieve this, to explore the public private partnership frameworks, and enhancement of forest and vegetative cover and restoration, and for this restoration, conservation and management of trees outside forest and green cover is required. And finance of LCD, that is the, and here 6 to 8 trillion US dollar will be required for India, and private finance through equity investment bonds and FDI. India will raise money for this finance of the LCD. LCD means, that is the low carbon development pathways. And the next topic, that is regarding the national list of essential medicine. Recently there is a revision list has been done after the consultation with the stakeholders and crucial documents like WHO essential medicine list in 2021, and the list has 34 additions and 26 drugs have been removed, and the drugs are added removed on the basis of their cost, effectiveness and quick availability. And the prices of the drugs are regulated by the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, NPPA. And here are some information about the national list of essential medicine. It contains those drugs which are essentially required to be stored in the bulk in all hospitals. Okay, in the list contains those drugs which are essentially required to be stored in bulk in huge quantity in all the hospitals, and it helps in ensuring accessibility of affordable quality medicines at all levels of healthcare. A dynamic document, it revised on a regular basis. Okay, considering the changing public health priority as well as the advancement in pharmaceutical knowledge. It first formulated in the year 1996, and it is reviewed and revised by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and the main purpose is to promote rational use of the medicine considering the three important aspects, that is cost, safety and efficacy. And regarding the NPPA, that is the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, it was set off in 1997 to fix or revise prices of the controlled bulk drugs and formulations to enforce price and availability of medicines under the Drugs Price Control Orders 1995. It is an attached office of the Department of the Pharmaceutical, that is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. It is most important that it is not under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The Department of the Pharmaceutical, that is under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. The next topic, that is again regarding the COP27. Here two new initiatives were launched at this COP27. The first initiative, there is a lifetime campaign. Okay, and it is launched by the National Museum of Natural History under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the United Nations Development Program. It is launched by the National Museum of Natural History, plus UNDP, United Nations Development Program. What is its objective? Its objective is to encourage youth between the ages of 18 to 23 years to become message bearers of sustainable lifestyles. Okay, the main objective is of this initiative or the campaign, lifetime campaign, that is to encourage the youth between the ages of 18 to 23 years to become message bearers of sustainable lifestyles, and the youth will be encouraged to submit their climate actions and that are sustainable and scalable and can be shared globally. And the next initiative, that is a global shield against climate risk. It is a financial support program. It is a pre-arranged financial support that established for the needs of poor and vulnerable countries facing increasing risk of losses and damages from climate change. It is for the needs of poor and vulnerable countries, and it will be supported by the World Bank under the Global Shield Financing Facility, and it is combinedly launched by G7 and Vulnerable 20s. Okay, and Vulnerable 20s, it is a dedicated cooperation initiatives of economies systematically vulnerable to climate change, and it was established in 2015 at Lima of Peru. And who are G7 countries? G7 countries is a grouping of 7 countries, 7 big countries, the United States, UK, Germany, France, Canada, Italy and Japan. Other climate funds, there are Green Climate Fund, Global Environment Facility, Special Climate Change Fund, Adaptation Fund. So what is this Green Climate Fund? It was set off in 2010 to help the developing countries to limit the greenhouse gas emissions and climate adaptation, to limit the greenhouse gas emissions and climate adaptation, and it was set up in 2010. The Global Environment Facility, it was established at 1992 at the Rio Earth Summit, and the main objective is to developing countries and countries with economies in transition to meet the objectives of the environmental conventions and agreements, and the fund is managed by World Bank. The Special Climate Change Fund, it is established in 2001. Objective is to finance projects in all developing countries relating to adaptation, technology transfer and capacity building. Okay, and it is managed by this Global Environment Facility, and it is managed by World Bank. Then Adaptation Fund, it is also established in 2001 to finance the concrete adaptation projects and programs, that is in developed countries who are parties to the Kyoto Protocol, that is vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change. There are also small newses, and first topic, that is the district judges. And recently the Chief Justice of India said that district judges are not subordinates, they belong to the district judiciary. They are not subordinate to the high courts, or they are not subordinate to the Supreme Court. They are independent and they are belong to the district judiciary. About district judge, it is the highest judiciary authority in district, and it possesses original and appellate jurisdiction in both civil as well as the criminal matters, and all the appointment and posting and promotions regarding the district judge are made by the governor of state in consultation with the high court. And what is the qualification for a district judge? It should not be already be in service of central or state government. It should have been an advocate or a pleader for 7 years, and it should be recommended by high court for appointment. Next topic, that is anti-conversion laws. Why this is a news? Because Supreme Court recently asked the center to step in and make efforts to tackle issue of forced religion conversion. today there has been no central legislation regarding the anti-conversion religious to regulate the religious conversion, but in several states like Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, they have enacted the legislation in order to restrict the religious conversion. Okay, and in the famous stencil versus state of Madhya Pradesh and others in 1977, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of anti-conversion legislation of the Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. It held that the right to propagate, the fundamental right, there is a right to propagate that does not include the right to convert of religion. Okay, the next topic, that's the Paris Peace Forum. Okay, what is this forum? It was launched by the French president in 2018. It is now an annual international event that is focused on the reviving and improving global governance, and it was launched by the French president to promote the collective actions of today's most pressing global issues. The next topic, that is regarding the Places of Worship Act 1991. The centers out more time to reply on Places of Worship Act petition. The act prohibits the conversion of any place of worship, that is to provide the maintenance of the religious character and any place of worship as it existed on the 15th day of August 1947. The act applies even to a different segment of the same religious denomination, but the section 5 of this act, it stipulates that the act shall not apply to the Rama Janmabhoomi and Babri Masjid case. And the next topic, that is the State of Climate in Asia 2021 report, and it is published by the WMO, World Meteorological Organization. It is the second in the series of the report actually. And what are the key highlights of this report? The economic losses from consequent extreme weather events like floods and droughts amounted to more than $35 billion in 2021 in Asia, and India suffered an economic loss of $4.4 billion due to storms and an additional $3.2 billion due to flooding. Okay, the next topic, that's a mitigation work program, MWP. It was conceptualized in COP26 in 2021, and it was suggested by the United States to bridge the gap by increasing the ambition in pledges to cut emissions. Okay, and the multiple report has been also suggested that currently nationally determined contribution of the countries were insufficient to adhere the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature goal, and which this program intends to urgently scale up the mitigation ambition and implementation. The next topic, that is regarding the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India engaged with financial regulators to curb cyber frauds. Okay, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India that seeks to curb cyber frauds through process of involving the whitelisting. A whitelist, that is it is a cyber security strategy that approves a list of email addresses, IP addresses and domain names or applications while denying all others. Okay, and it also aiming to address the issue of unsolicited commercial communication, UCC. UCC, it is a commercial communication sent by an operator to its customers without their request. In 2016, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India had unveiled a Do Not Disturb registry under the UCC guideline. Okay, now next topic, there is the DRR Dhan 60. The scientists of Indian Institute of Rice Research, they have developed a paddy varieties that is known as DRR Dhan 60. which require at least 30% lower phosphorus. It is the first rice variety in the country with low phosphorus tolerance for any crop. The DRR Dhan 66, DRR Dhan 65 and WGL 1487 are other varieties of paddy varieties which offer same benefits. Okay, phosphorus, it is a key micronutrient responsible for the energy storage and transfer within the cells, and it helps speeding up root development, facilitates greater nitrogen uptake, and results in higher grain protein yields. And the place in news, that is the Dasi Gang, which belong to the Himachal Pradesh state. It has world's highest polling station, that is at 15,256 feet, and it has been made the model polling station to make voting easy for senior citizens and disabled voters, and it lies in the border district of the Lahaul and Spiti. And in the personality news, that is the Birsa Munda, today is his birthday, that is anniversary 15th November 1875. His birth anniversary is observed as the Janma Jatiya Gaurav Divas, and he was born in Munda tribe of Chotnagar Plateau, that is in Jharkhand, and his contribution, he fought against the exploitation of the local tribes by British and Jamindars, and he started the Birside sect to end religious conversion and mobilized tribal community against British called Munda Rebellion, and he started a movement called Ulgulan and the Great Tumult against exploitation of tribals by local authorities, and this helped the Chotnagpur Tenancy Act of 1908 recognized tribal Khundkhati rights and banned the Bet Vegari. The values, he is very courage and valor and visionary for his community. This is it for this session. If you like the video, kindly like, share and subscribe our channel for more such videos. Thank you.